What's going on, guys? Welcome to Alive in 5, our videos where we bring you the best of the best in the worlds of mental wellness, physical health, and life philosophy in less than 5 minutes. So let's get into it. These are all the awesome things that I found that I thought you guys would find useful this week. So the first one is a podcast series that's relatively new by the philosopher Tim Freke. Tim Freke is a spiritual philosopher and best-selling author. He's really well known for his work in trying to integrate concepts of evolutionary biology into our religious and spiritual beliefs. Very, very fascinating work in itself. But I was really interested in sharing this podcast series with you guys. So Tim Freke has created a podcast series called What is Life? And it's exactly what it sounds like it is. He pretty much just pulls all the smartest and brightest thinkers of our time into one place and asks them questions about what is life, what is reality, what are we doing here? Really deep fundamental questions, and it's so interesting some of the insights that he's able to draw out of people. So if you're curious about really big questions like this, I highly suggest you check it out. The next resource is a book that I've just started reading this week called Beyond Order. It is Jordan Peterson's new book. Essentially, he's released the second edition of his Rules for Life series. The first one was called 12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos. That was very much about avoiding negative emotion, finding a sense of balance in your life, and I guess promoting order as more of a positive in that book. So that in the second book, he's stated that you actually need to go beyond order as well. It's about the balance between order and chaos. So this one's more about stepping into chaos, stepping out of your comfort zone, and really flourishing and finding meaning and finding fulfillment by embracing the adversity that we might face in our lives. I'm only a few chapters in, but I found it incredibly useful so far, and definitely will be useful for you if you think that you are someone who might lean more towards the order side of things and might need a little bit of disruption and a little bit more of a push to step out and step into that adversity and challenge of life. But really, really recommend it. If you want to just get a flavor for it, he's done heaps of YouTube videos recently summarizing a few of the key concepts. This next resource that I've got here is an endurance challenge laid down by David Goggins. So David Goggins is an extreme endurance athlete. He is probably one of the most well-known ultra runners out there. He has so many world records for doing insane physical feats, and he's just known for being an absolute badass. But the thing I wanted to shout out that I was really interested in this week was his challenge that he's put out to the general public. He calls it the 4x4x48 challenge. It's a challenge to run 4 miles every 4 hours for 2 days, for 48 hours. So by the end of that 2 days, you've essentially run 2 marathons in that time. The challenge is crazy in itself. Obviously, he's experienced in this and he's quite well versed, so he's very much capable of doing it. But he has issued this challenge out on YouTube to the general public, and I find it really interesting. If you just go to Google or go to YouTube and type in this challenge, the members of the general public or amateur sort of fitness enthusiasts that are taking up this challenge, there's so many of them, and it's really, really insightful to have a look at how they face into something that is so extreme when they're not used to it. And there's a lot of useful lessons that I feel like can be learned from that. And it's just pretty inspiring as well to see these everyday YouTubers or everyday people take up something so extreme and just run with it. It really sort of pushes the boundaries on what you might think you're capable of. So check that out if you're interested in fitness challenges and all that sort of thing. The last resource is a conversation that Jonathan Rolston had on a YouTube channel called The Stoa. So Jonathan Rolston represents a company called Perspectiva, which is all about the comprehensive education of individuals within our society. Perspectiva essentially believe that a lot of the problems in our society are due to a lack of social, emotional, and spiritual education. In this conversation, Jonathan Rolston represents what he calls the 10 flavors of the meta-crisis, which can generally be boiled down to 4 key areas. Crises in the social emotional world, the educational realm, our epistemics, and our spirituality. Although he talks about all of these at the cultural level, it's really interesting to see how it actually comes down to the individual level as well. I found it personally really fascinating to see how these cultural issues, the 10 flavors of the meta-crisis, actually begin at an individual level, and it's our own deficiencies that we need to be aware of at the individual level that can then manifest and become really prominent, larger scale issues on a cultural level. I thought that was really interesting, just to be aware of the ways, I guess, we can be, ignorant of these kinds of development in our own lives, and then the impact that they have on our overall society when each individual isn't looking after these things in their own sort of sphere of influence. Really, really insightful. Check it out if you're curious about any of these topics that you see on the screen, either at a cultural or personal level. So that's it, guys. That's another week of Alive in 5. Thank you so much for watching. Links, as always, are on our website. You can scroll through a links page, see the summaries of the resources, and just click to go see more about them. But yeah, that's it for this week, and see you next week. Thank you.